Hello, algebra students. Mr. Lawrence here, and because some of you asked, I've made I'm in the process of making a completing the square video. I'm going to do 3 problems just like I promised. A very vanilla one where A is already 1, and when I take half of B, it'll be no big deal. And then I'm going to do 2 where A is not 1, one of which will end up with some fractions in it. Okay? So remember, first important thing, A must be 1. And here I have A as 1. So since A is 1, I'm going to eliminate the C term. So step 1, if you want me to write it out, I will. Step 1, I have to make sure A equals 1. Does A equal 1? That's my question. If it does, I can go to step 2. If it doesn't, I have to divide to make A 1. All right, so step 2 is eliminate C. Eliminate, I'm going to abbreviate that, C. Now, if C's already on the other side, if it's been eliminated, if like it was x squared plus 18x, then I would skip step 2. Okay, but in this case, I have to eliminate C, so I'm going to subtract 11. Subtracting 11, there we go. And let's see here, I'm going to have x squared plus 18x. And this is where I like to do the plus blank. And let's see, I'm going to have negative 11 plus blank. All right, now step 3, take half of B. Step 3, take 1/2 of B. And in this case, it's 9. I like to write it off to the side there. Step 4 is to square that answer. Step 4, square the 1/2 of B. So I'm going to go maybe B divided by 2 and square it, right? And so when I square that, I'm going to get 81. Now I have to add that to both sides. All right, then I'm ready to factor the left-hand side. Step 5 would be factoring the left-hand side. I normally don't spell out all the steps, but if you think it's going to help you, I don't mind doing it. So step 5 would be to factor the left-hand side and combine like terms on the right-hand side. So did you get that? Step 5 was to factor the left-hand side. It's a perfect square trinomial. That's why we do this. And then I need to combine the like terms on the left-hand side. And so I got a negative 11 and a positive 81, and that's going to be 70. All right. Step 6. I'm getting tired of talking about all these steps. I must be out of shape. All right, here we go. So I'm going to take the square root of each side, right? And because it's a quadratic, I need the plus or minus, right? Because it's a quadratic. So I have x plus 9 on the left-hand side, and the right-hand side is plus or minus rad 70. Now, I should take a minute and see if rad 70 can be simplified. If it can, I should simplify it. Well, let me see here. I'm not finding any perfect square factors. I'm finding 7 times 10. Of course, 10 can be thought of as 5 times 2, but those are all prime. None of them are perfect square, so the square root of 70 is just rad 70. I can't break it down anymore. And now I'm going to subtract 9. I lost my mouse. There it is. I'm going to subtract 9 from each side. And remember, we write the rad terms second. So x is going to equal negative 9 plus or minus rad 70. And there you go. So you're going to have negative 9 plus the rad of 70 and negative 9 minus the rad of 70. I'm guessing the rad of 70 is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of like 6.5, because 70 is 14 away, 64, 81, 11. Oh no, it's probably going to be more like 6 6/10, or maybe 6 7/10, somewhere around there. So if I really wanted to get the decimal approximation, I'd pop open my calculator, and I would do negative 9 plus the rad of 70, and there we go, a negative, oh, that doesn't seem right. Hold on. Oh, of course, did I say 6 something? I hope I said 8 point something before when I was estimating, because I was thinking of 64. Okay, so it's getting pretty close to 9. So let's see here, the rad of 70 ended up being 8 4/10 approximately. Remember, there is no rad of 70. And so when I combine that with a -9, I get approximately 6/10 or 63/100 or something like that. But that's only if you're going for the decimal approximation. Okay, and then of course I would do -9 minus the rad of 70. All right, let's go on to problem number 2 here. Spending too much time on that. Okay, step 1, got to make sure A is alone. A is not alone, so I'm going to divide by 5. Divide by 5. Divide by 5. And divide by 5, right? Okay, and I'm going to get x squared minus 6x plus 4 equals 0. All right, going to eliminate c by subtracting 4. And I'm going to get x squared minus 6x plus blank equals -4 plus blank. Okay, now here's where I go. Oops, we got a monkey loose in the classroom throwing things around. Don't mind that noise. Ignore the man behind the curtain. All right, so I'm going to take half of -6, which is -3, and then I'm going to square it, which is +9. That's only because I'm so organized. All right, but I'm talking to Miss Halter, by the way, in case you're wondering. All right, so I'm going to factor the left-hand side, and if you didn't realize it, notice that -3 that we wrote up here ended up being the second part of the binomial, x minus 3. Over on the right-hand side, I'm going to have 5. -4 plus 9 is 5. I'm going to take the square root of each side. Square root of each side. So x minus 3 is going to equal plus or minus the square root of 5. I can't simplify the square root of 5. It's supposed to be a 5. Well, it looks a little bit better. And finally, I am going to add 3 to each side. And so I'm going to get 2 answers. I'm going to get x equals 3 plus or minus the square root of 5. And again, I could do a decimal approximation of the square root of 5, but it's only if they ask me to. If not, I'm going to leave it in exact form. All right, one more example, and then we'll let this go. All right, so here I have a is not 1, so I'm going to divide by 3. Right? Okay. And when I do that, I'm going to get x squared minus 2/3 x minus 4/3. And I'm not going to go mixed number, and I'm not going to go decimal. All right. Now, when I do that, I'm going to eliminate c, so I'm going to have x squared minus 2/3 x plus blank equals 4/3 plus blank. Now I need half of -2/3. Well, remember, to double a number, you double the numerator. To cut it in half, you double the denominator. So I'm going to take half of that, which would be -2/6. Wait, isn't that -1/3 in disguise? Yeah, I like that -1/3. And then I'm going to square it, which is going to turn out to be +1/9. So I'm going to add 1/9 over here. Okay, left-hand side is ready to factor, so I'm going to get x minus, I know it's negative because b is negative, and then 1/3, right? And again, it matches the -1/3 and the -1/3. There's an extra little mark in there. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, that's part of my circle. I must not have pushed the pen down hard enough. Okay, so I've got x minus -1/3 in a quantity squared. And over here, I don't want to deal with 4/3. I want to deal with 8/9, right? 4/3 is the same as 8/9. All I did was, oh no, it's not 8/9. Silly Mr. Lawrence. I can't believe I made that mistake. It's going to be 12/9. Yeah, that sounds a little bit better. Yeah, 12/9. Okay, so how many nines do I have altogether? I must have 13/9. Okay, moving right along. And we'll take the square root of both sides. I'll go like that, and we'll do plus or minus. And so now I have x minus 1/3 equals plus or minus the rad of 13 over 3. I guess I shouldn't have written it quite like that. Let me see if I can do that. Yeah, I like that better. Plus or minus rad 13 over 3. One more step, and that's to add 1/3 to each side. So x is going to equal 1/3 plus or minus rad 13 over 3. Okay, and so I'm going to get 1 plus or minus rad 13, and that will be over 3, and there are your two solutions. All right, that's it. Please feel free to send me an email saying I'm really having trouble on this. Tell me the problem. Maybe I'll type out a solution. Maybe I can come in Monday with a better idea of how to help you be successful with it. All right, thanks for caring. Thanks for watching the video. Mr. Lawrence signing off. Have a good night, everybody.